Hello, I'm Tim with Wayne Engineering. Today I'm going to be showing you how to install our backup camera system for a 99 to 2006 GM SUV, full-size SUV. So that would be a Tahoe, Suburban, Yukon, Yukon XL, 1500 or 2500. Okay, so now I'm going to show you what you're getting. You'll have one box here that's the camera. We'll open it up. This is the camera on the vehicle specific mount. You're going to have a 18-foot RCA cable with your power wire pre-attached. This is the camera. This connects to the camera. This already has a ring terminal for your ground and a female terminal to connect to the yellow wire on your RCA cable. Included in the bag, you'll have another connector to connect to the far end of your power wire. This will be at the back of your radio. You have a small Allen key. This is for adjusting the angle and rotation of the camera. The camera does not come pre-aimed from the manufacturer, so you will have to aim it to where you want it once you get it installed and connected. Included in the box is a trim tool and 5 zip ties and the owner's manual for the camera. Now, let's look at the actual camera mount. Oh, one other thing, you will receive a 4-pin extension cable. It's 10 feet long. This cable is going to run from the camera through the hatch and into the body of the vehicle. Once it's inside the body of the vehicle, then you will connect this cable that has the ring terminal. This cable that has the ring terminal and the RCA plug. These connectors are just too large to try to get through the factory loom into the hatch. So I've included the extension cable because it's fairly easy to get this small connector through the factory grommet. All right, now this camera, this particular mount is a pre-production sample. I FDM printed this out of ABS. The actual production units are SLS printed out of PA12 nylon, and they're dyed black. So the actual units that ship will be much nicer quality than this. I'll add a photo here in the video that'll show you what the actual finish will look like. But this is your camera mount. So this piece just replaces the factory glass hatch push button release trim ring. So you're just going to remove that trim ring out of your vehicle, and this is a direct swap in, and that gives you your camera location. The production units, the gaskets are going to look a little different. Like I said, this is a pre-production unit. This gasket will be solid, but this gasket protects your paint because this portion is sitting against your hatch. This gasket is your weather seal around the mount, and then the seal on the inside keeps the dust out from around your push button. Now, let's see how to install it. To install your camera, you're going to first need to take this trim piece loose, which just unsnaps. Second, we're going to take the grab handle loose. You're going to use a 7mm socket for that. And once that's loose, this trim panel should pop loose. I typically start by grabbing up here and just pulling down. Your trim piece should pop down. As you can see, the trim panel is now loose all the way around. It just snaps, but it's still being held up by some pins and the hatch glass. So the next step is we're going to close the hatch. The trim piece is held on with these 2 push pins. So if you press the center in and then take your trim tool and get underneath, they should pop right out, just like that. just like that. And now we can remove the trim. Now that the upper trim is removed, we're going to remove this screw that has a 7mm head. You can see that I dropped the screw, but then your handle just pops right out. The lower piece of trim just snaps in across the top. Just pops out. Give her a little tug. All right. Pops loose on the bottom, like so. And then you just kind of lift it out, if that makes sense. This will give you a better idea of where the clips are. And there are 2 hooks, one here and one here. So don't just snatch it off. You've got to pop all of these clips loose first and then lift up, and the panel will come right off. Next step is to take your rear glass hatch release mechanism out. I typically unplug this plug, and then you need a 10mm socket to remove these 2 bolts. Also, your hatch glass has to remain released. I misspoke. There's actually 3 bolts. There's 2 up here, 2 here, 1 here. This is what your mechanism looks like once it's out. I have a later model, so all I have is a button. Yours may have a lock cylinder. Should be the same. Now my truck already has a camera installed, but your next step would be your trim piece here just snaps in. The factory one just snaps in. So if you just kind of squeeze it, push it out, it might be stuck a little bit because of the gasket, but if you just push it, it should pop right out. Once your button trim piece is out, this is what you're left with. Mine's a little dirty here. What you're going to do is take your camera and you're going to feed the cable in. It's hard to do one-handed, I apologize. Let's see here. And you're going to place the mount in. You're going to place the mount in at a 45-degree angle. Kind of snaps in a little bit. And then it's going to be difficult to turn, but then turn it straight up and it will lock into place. Now your camera is locked in. It's not going anywhere. Now you can take your video cable, route it up and over. I like to run it underneath this harness, loop it over, and kind of loop it around that harness to hold it in place. There are zip ties included in the box, so you can zip tie your cable. There is a 10-foot 4-pin extension cable that will come in your box, and it's to help you get through this piece here. Now I suggest you pop both ends loose. There's a plastic plug in there. I'll show you how to get to that in a minute. As soon as I get it loose, I'll show you what it looks like. And then I take a wire coat hanger and bend a loop on the end of it and put a little oil, 3-in-1, WD-40, whatever you got on it to help slide it through this tube. And then you're going to pull that cable through. I'll show you that in just a minute. So both ends of this connector or this tube are the same. This little rubber piece pops out over this plastic piece, and you can kind of see it there. There's a little tab on the inside and the outside. They can be kind of a pain to get loose. You just kind of got to work it. I typically put like a screwdriver up in there and pop it loose. Because what you got to do, you can feel where my fingernail is. There's that little tab, and it will pop that plug out, as you can see there. and it's the same on both ends. This end, there's actually a harness that you can unplug. Can sometimes make it a little easier. But you also still have your windshield washer tube that runs through here. You can cut that, disconnect it, and go buy a male-to-male union and plug it back together at that joint, but you can do it without it. Once you got your two plugs undone, we're going to take this upper trim piece loose. It snaps on, pops right off. As you can see, it's just a few clips. And we're going to pop this corner trim off, which also just snaps off like so. The reason we're taking the corner trim off is there is a ground lug over here on this side of all your vehicles. We're going to use that ground lug. Your 10-foot 4-pin cable, extension cable, is going to look like this. You got a big end and a small end. Your bigger end is going to go to your camera here. I can't do this one-handed, but you get the idea. And then you're going to route that cable with your zip ties along here with the factory harness, and you're going to go through the hole, and you're going to come out here. Now, you're going to take that coat hanger, that's your wire coat hanger or any type of stiff wire like that you've put a loop on, and you're going to feed it from this side of the tube all the way until it pokes out this side. Then you're going to take the small end of your 4-pin plug or cable, and you're going to attach it to your coat hanger, wire, or whatever, and you're going to pull it back through. And then you're going to want to pull all, whatever extra slack you have, you're going to pull through here. The cable is extra long, probably longer than it needs to be, but I wanted to make it easy for everybody. Once you have that fed through, and I assure you that is the hardest part of this whole install. It is not fun, but if you're persistent, you can get it through. You're going to find this cable in your box. It should have the bigger 4-pin. It's now going to connect here, and you have a ground wire that I've pre-crimped a lug to, and you're going to connect that ground to this ground post right here. Should be a 10mm socket. Take that nut off and ground it. Your other side, this female connector and your RCA plug are going to connect to your 18-foot RCA extension cable. I've already pre-connected these connectors as well. Once you have that connected, I just go along the headliner and stuff this RCA cable in the headliner all the way to the front. Then take your A-pillar off, which snaps off pretty easily, run down it, and then run across the dash to your aftermarket stereo. There should be a female connector, female spade connector in your box to allow you to crimp to this wire. Once you have power to your camera, and I run ignition power to my camera because my radio has a feature where I can just view the rear camera without it being reverse. You can either hook it up to reverse wire or you can hook it up to ignition. I wouldn't leave it on battery because your camera will run all the time. But if you look closely, you'll see there's a little adjustment screw and there's a tiny little Allen key in your kit, and that's for adjusting the camera. None of these are pre-aligned. It appears the manufacturer just kind of puts them in there however they do. And some of them are upside down, some of them are right side up. It can be skewed any kind of way. But this camera rotates 360 degrees and it tilts up and down. So you can get the view that you want. Typically what I did was I just turned the monitor on the front, opened the hatch, and just kind of watched until I got it where I wanted it, and then cranked the set screw down. So to put everything back together, it's just the reverse of taking it apart. You're going to align that piece with the camera and gently kind of work it in. It's kind of a tight fit, but it'll go in. If your hatch is down, like mine is right now, you're probably going to run into the latch, so you may have to fiddle with that, get the hatch loose. But basically everything just goes back together like you took it apart. So put your 3 bolts back in place. Those are cinched down now. Reconnect your wiring harnesses. Click. All right, guys, that's going to wrap this video up. I did not go into details of connecting the yellow wire to the stereo or the RCA. Every aftermarket stereo is going to be slightly different, but you do need a reverse wire input to trigger the stereo, the aftermarket stereo, to switch to your reverse camera. Like I said, my camera, I connect to the ignition. That way I can view the camera at any time, even while traveling down the road. That helps me, watch trailer loads if I need to. And then, of course, you need the RCA video input. As long as you have that, then this camera system will work for you. And I hope you enjoy your new camera, backup camera. If you need any assistance, you can reach out to me and I'll be glad to help you in any way. Thank you and have a good day.